I'm testing out my stream. Hopefully it's going well. Okay, looks like it's going well. I have a few things I want to do. Okay, severe looks good, but this is spiking really high, by the way. Let's see. Okay, enjoy the walk. kbps. Okay, maybe I should give this a 9,000, because if you give it 9,000, the better it gets. Nice, no frame drops. Let's go in for all. Okay, let's confirm from YouTube. Let's go over to YouTube. YouTube. Watch my stream and see what's going on. Okay, it's going pretty well actually. Okay, yeah. Nice. Looks like we finally have a good streaming um don't know, just streaming settings or something. Um nice. So I'm going to send this over to a 9. So this is what I did. I basically changed. I had extra like packages to help me with my GPU, because I realized that most of my streams are always, logging and stuff. So this way I don't have to. Yeah, so this way I fix it, by the way. So nice. Let me commit that into. Nice. Okay. Okay, looks like it's going on well. Alright, so let's play some music. Before that, I plan to. What is it I plan to do? I forgot. Yeah, yeah. I plan to give my stream like a new title, and one of the perfect title that I eventually come up with is something called the Daily Log. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be renaming my stream to the Daily Log. Um, I think I have to do that before I start streaming. I already start streaming, so I can't do that now. That's sad. Oh, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. So I'm just gonna do this Daily Log. Um, yeah. Should I put a date in there? Let's just say 01. The Daily Log 01. That's nice because I don't want to like me putting like a specific topic, right? Uh, it kind of makes it put me in a very limiting position, meaning that I cannot express myself. I can't do other things apart from just that thing that I'm doing. And sometimes I just want to, you know, stream some other things like me configuring my system or me editing my Nix file and other kind of stuff. I want to be able to be flexible with what I do on the stream while still doing what I came to do, which in this case would be learning Ansible with Killer Code, alright? I just want it to be a stream about my log. I don't want to give it like a specific title like uh, Ansible Learning 01 or something. I know it's Ansible, but I also want to do some other things. So it's just gonna be the daily log. I come online, I stream, and yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to I have a bunch of things that I want to do, and I just have to check my backlog for them and then pick them up one by one. But don't know why my sit is not. But before I do that, I need to play music. Just gonna save music. I think this is fine. Yeah, I think this is fine. Nice. It's going well, not too bad. it's fine. Good, now we can start. Good, now we can start. I got a few things on my plate. Like, what's today? 14? I got a few things on my plate that I want to do. I'm creating this NAN workflow for automating like my linear creation ticket. I have a, like, as you can see, I have a way that I write my to-dos, and what I wanted to do was um, not manage, the linear for all my to-do manually, right? Like every day I need to go to linear and then type in what I did that day, and then it just felt so manual and so time consuming, right? And once you do something multiple times and you do the same thing multiple times, that's what I mean. That's kind of like time consuming. That is a waste of time. If you could automate it, then just automate it, right? So I've been experimenting with, how to automate the process of, sending all of these over to linear without having to, do it manually. And currently I'm actually making progress at it. Maybe not. Let me see if I can bring it over. Yeah, this is it. And if you go over here, so this is the one I'm currently doing. So I SSH over to my server, the one NN is currently running on. I fetch the to-do list. As you can see over here, it's go. This is the parts to the to-dos. I have a script in there that extracts the to-do. If you run that over here, no new date process, use resets to process update. Yes. You back? That's good. And if you want to get like a specific date, you have to pass in a flag called date, and then you have to pass in um the specific date you want to fetch for. This is the current date that I passed in to like a form. When you execute, what's the problem? Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Let me save that over there for now. Yeah, this is it. Now we have the to do for that specific day, and this is the to do. Create alias to cd into a temporary directory at any time when needed. Create a floating terminal for OpenCode or Copilot CLI. And this is it. And if I want to reset the to-do in general, I have this, and if you parse in a flag called reset, it would basically reset the to-dos automatically. So that's my workflow for like creating tickets. So when I get the output from the SSH, I pass the output over to a file, and let me get this. So this is the file that I pass the output over to, and do that. Execute. So the output was gone over to the file. That's why we didn't get the result of that. And so we have another node. So what this node does is, let me disconnect this file. So what this node does is, it will try to get the output from the file that we pass, the file that we created from the previous node. So if I execute this, you can see that we get the ticket that we need. And then we have the AI agent. So the AI agent is the one to basically do the ticket creation, right? Because Linear has some sort of format that they want every ticket to have, like the date, the title, the labels, and all that stuff. And I want to be able to convert each of this title into that particular format, and then output the result as a JSON file. So for example, I have a Copilot prompt in here. Let me get the prompt and let me show you what I mean. Let's open a new like Scratchpad. Let's do this. Oh my bad, sorry. Did I not get this? Okay. Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't know why it didn't wrap it, but anyways, let's just do this. Let's put it away. Don't know why I'm not seeing well. Alright, so this is a prompt. So you execute the command using Copilot. So you say Copilot because I'm using Copilot CLI as my AI agent because I have the you know GitHub Copilot subscription. So you say Copilot and then you pass in a P, which is, I forgot what the P means, but I think it's an argument that basically puts you in like it doesn't open like a new session. It just temporarily pass in your prompt, kinda. Because normally when you type in Copilot, it would create like a new session, and then you could continuously like question it. But if you just want a one-time prompt, a one-time answer, then you could use the P flag. So the prompt is Copilot, you are a text parser for linear issues. Forgot message. Yeah, for linear issues creation. Read all to-dos from my note. Extract to-dos with their date. For each to-dos item found. Which is, any of the three. So this is how my to-dos are. I have a blank to-do, which has a name backlog. I have a to-do with a dash. That means that the to-do is in progress. And I have a to-do if checked, means that it is done. So every to-do has the status. This is what the status is going to be. So for every to-do, I want you to output a JSON array with one object per to-do. So if I have two, let me show you. So in this case, I have two to-dos for this particular day. So it would go through these nodes, and then for each of these to-dos, it would create a JSON object that contains the title of the to-do, a kind of short description. So the short description, it just creates it based on the title. So I don't have a way for now to pass in like some sort of description, but I'm thinking of later on adding some other like um, context for each of the to-dos. So it would not just be the to-do, but also a short description that says that okay, um, this is what this to-do is all about. So a description, a status, either backlog, in progress, or done. That would be based off this ones that we have, and then an assignee. So the assignee is basically me because it's my um, it's my ticket, and then I have a label. So I'm kind of having a problem with the label because basically my let me show you my linear. Don't want to share my credentials. Right, so this is my linear, right? And there is like a label for like each of the tickets, right? So what I want to do is automatically pass in like a label for each of them. So for example, if the ticket is relating to home lab, it has a label home lab. If it is related to development, it has a label called development. And if it's related to learning, it has a label called learning. So the label would be based on the title of the tickets. For example, complete a ton of goal learning, so that automatically means that you should get assigned a label of learning, and then a label relating to that, which is goal in this case. So I'm kind of like looking for a much better way to do that with the prompt, but for now I think I would just stick to personal, or maybe something that is like shared between each of the um, tickets. And then we have a created date. We have, yeah. So the output of this prompt will be sent over to a JSON file, because NAN needs the JSON file for like yeah, the output will be a JSON file because we need to pass in the JSON file to the HTTP request that we're going to make to basically create the the ticket. If it's a done ticket, and then create a in progress ticket, and then create a to do ticket for now. So I'm not done with this, but that's my goal with this. And I also have a so this one is what I use for like my I have another like project that I manage with this one, and this one works pretty well. That is what I use for managing for doing these ones. But I feel like it needs some enhancement the because anything provide node for linear. They have like their own node, but it doesn't have all the fields that I need. Like for example, the label field doesn't have the label field. It only has the assignee, description, parity, and the state. But I want the label and the created date, because there are times when I process this particular date on this day, and when I update my linear, I don't want this one to get a creation date of this one, right? It doesn't make sense. I want to be able to specify what date the day were created, but because it didn't provide us that in here, I decided to not use it for the second one. So what I learned from this, when I'm done, is what I would apply to the other one, basically. So that's just a brief overview of what I'm doing with NAN for now, and yeah, let's confirm if okay, good. So maybe we're just going to continue with so when I execute this, I did not get the result I needed. the last time. I think it's something that has to do with the prompt. For some reason, I think the prompt is. I think the prompt is expecting me to specifically say something. Um, I forgot what the issue was. Did I write it down? I didn't. I didn't. Okay. Um, so I'm telling this to basically let me get this over again. I don't like why. I don't know why I did that. So, alright. So yeah, task parser for the issue. Read all my to-dos from my note. Extract to-do with their date. But yeah, is the note, right? It needs to be able to have access to the note. Let me get my other prompts that actually worked. Which one was it? Oh, sorry. Save that. Let's get the one that actually worked, which was this one. And let's get this. Okay. Alright, so you are a co-founder of Education. Read all Markdown file in the current directory. Okay, yeah, I think I made a mistake. So this would basically read all to-dos from my yeah, I think so. What my last one was doing was it was reading from a Markdown file. But however, this one is saved in a JSON file. So if it's unable to read the JSON file, then there is no way for it to actually create the ticket because it just assumes it's a JSON file, right? But I should be able to read the JSON file. So let's do something. Let's say read all my to-dos from the JSON file in the current directory. The current directory, extract to-dos with your date. Yeah, so this feels more real. Let's get that. Just do a 0, I guess. Copy that. And let's go back to the one we're working on, which is this one. And let's put that in. So this would send it over to to-do.json file, and the to-do.json file is in the temp/now directory, and this is because I have created the temp/now directory because that is where oh sorry. So when we get the to-do from the script, we send it over to the temp/now directory in a txt format. Okay, makes sense. And then we output the data. Okay, so we only do this for like debugging purposes. We don't really need this one to be connected to. So this one needs to be connected to this instead. This is just a way for me to validate. Alright, so from the txt file in the current directory. Interesting. So that's what this is going to do, and would send this would send it over to. For now, let's not send it over to this. Like let's see the output first before we send it over. So I'm just gonna cut that away. I'm gonna put that in here because what this would return is a JSON formatted like issue, right? But for now we want to see what it creates. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to execute this one and see the result. For now we don't need this. Execute. But before that, let's okay, well so the node will get executed on this server because this is the actual server that is running everything. So the node will get executed, and as you can see we get the result that we need. So this is 2 ticket. It says create alias for temp directory, and it has a description. It has a start host as barcode because we didn't actually do it. Yeah, we didn't do it. And we have another one also. So we have 2 tickets which are basically the same ticket that we have, and the date is in the right format, just as I wanted it to be. And we don't really need this, this standard error. We need the standard output instead. So now that we have got what we need, I'm going to only open JSON. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I need to send the result over to a so I need to send the result over to HTML. To do the JSON. So the result would have to be in a JSON like output, JSON format. So we're going to execute that again, and then this time around we would we would then cut the result out to be used by good. So now you see we don't have the output, but we have the standard error, and we can see from the standard error that it uses like GP is a 4.1, input token was 22.4k input. I didn't put that much input, but it's alright. This is output, and this is the cached read. So we know it already performed its task. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect this over to the next SSH node, and then we're going to actually there's a much better way to do this, but I just like we can have a script that gets executed instead, and then the script would save us having to, you know, make use of so many SSH nodes. Like this script could do the job of this guy and maybe the job of this guy. And the only thing we would need would be the output result instead. But that could be something that I put on us to do. So just say a script that gets executed in the first node and the first or second node, so we don't use too many SSH node. That's something to consider. Okay, so what we want to do now is we need to get the output data of this. So if we execute this, you can see that we have the output data in this case, but it's not in like JSON format. It is JSON, but I need to be able to remove the lines that we have over here, right? So we need to be able to use, I'm trying to remember what node we want to use. Probably the code in JavaScript node. That would give us these as an output. But what this does is it goes through the output, and then if the status equals to a star, it returns done. If it equals to a dash, it returns in progress. But we don't need this really anymore, because we got the result we need. We just need to be able to, we don't need this one also. So I don't think we need, yeah, I think we're fine with what we've got. I think this should work fine actually. Alright, let's pin the output. We could say alright, so yeah, it does not work. Give me a minute. The Zen browser is kind of slow. I don't know. It's not really snappy. I feel like I might change browser. Alright, good. We have our status backlog. Status backlog. Good. We have our data. Can we pin this though? Would it not let us pin this output so we don't have to do it every time? Anyways, we have our output. We would send that over to a switch statement. And the switch statement is where the magic happens. We have a output, and then we're just gonna do, yeah, if the JSON the start was equals to backlog, then you give me backlog. If it equals to in progress, you give me in progress, and if it equals to done, you give me the done. So this, how we're able to do this is just you just have to drag one of these over, because the status could be anything. It could be backlog, in progress, it could be done. So this would populate this field dynamically, right? So if it's any of that, just give me as that. And now if we execute this, you can see we have output 0. Output 0 is for this one. This is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. And output 0 we have the 2, because their status is backlog and backlog. So if you go over here, we have nothing on this one because we don't have a ticket that contains in progress or done. So now that we have an output, what we could do now is this gets sent over to, oh, does it get created already? So this gets sent, this will get sent over to the create ticket. So this one creates a ticket, creates a ticket for the backlog. If the state is a backlog, let me see. Alright, so we have a query. This is a we're using a linear API query. We specify the title, which is one of the field we want to update, the description, the state ID. The state ID is basically the biggest backlog as an ID linear. Like for every state, there's an ID specified, like with the state. We can get that using the linear API. All you have to do is pass in your API token as a query to basically get you all the states that you have on linear and the ID associated with them. So for every ID I have, for every state I have the ID. So this is the ID for done, this is the ID for project ID. Yeah, because you also need to specify like the project ID that you want to send the ticket to. In my case, it is my project, which is 2025 goals. Alright, so I think I might what I want to say, I think I might change my browser because this is just too slow. I don't know why. I don't like how slow it is. Anyways, yeah. So the only thing I need to update now would be the created date because I want to be able to dynamically update the date, and I don't want to use the latest date. I only want to use the latest date if it's the latest date, if that makes sense. I want to be able to put my own date because I could have to-dos from like months ago that I want to update, just so I could see my, my progress on Linear. I don't want my progress to be stuck in like just what do you see progress? I forgot. If you click on this one, so this is my Linear, and over here you can see like if I create like all my tickets on this day, it would just be one long ticket. It would not make sense. So yeah. Um, let's yeah, let's go back in here. So yeah, and we need to be able to dynamically update the date. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete. So the date has to be in certain format. Let's fix that. Okay, so let's make some changes actually. So if we go back in here, the JavaScript code that we have needs to accommodate for our date. Good. Now we have the date, and we have a statement that executes. Good. We have a output, and over here we need to use our date. What we're going to do is we're going to drag this over. Am I there? Yes. So now this would be dynamically updated. One other thing we want to do is update the title. So this would be nice, and that's it. And also the description. Nice. Now we have an up-to-date title and descriptions. So let's test. So this will get sent over to my backlog, and currently my backlog, let's go to the backlog. So this is our backlog issues. So this is my backlog, and my backlog has just few things inside of it. So we would know when it gets updated. As you can see, there's nothing new currently in my backlog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to execute steps, and you can see it says success equals to true. This is the ticket ID. This is the ticket title. This is the date that the ticket was created, which is not today's date, by the way. So now when we go back over to our Linear and we refresh the page, okay, Okay, I can't see anything right away. So it tells me it's been created, so I assume it's been created. Let's see which one it is. Maybe it creates it in my work. No, it didn't. Okay, so maybe there's something wrong somewhere. Let's see. Alright, so it says it's been created, but I don't know where. I have my linear account and project ID. Maybe we could search for the title itself. So let's get that. Let's go back and let's do a search actually. Alright, so we've done a search and there happen to be no there happens to be no ticket matching what we created. So something is wrong. Let's confirm. Give me a minute. I want to get the ID for I'm checking my team ID, making sure that my team ID is the same. It is the same. And I have my title. What about status ID? Let's see. Anyways, something Okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, so the problem. Okay, so the problem is C85, C85. Oh my god, okay. So the problem is the state I put in. I think this is for the done ticket. I think I made a mistake. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this and I'm going to get the one for backlog. I'm going to put that in that way. And what about project ID? Yes, so we're gonna execute this again and hopefully this time around. Okay, it's been created. If we go back in here, we refresh. Alright, yeah, as you can see we have this. We have, where's the second one? We have this. So it's been created, both of them. And as you can see, they were not created at the top of the backlog because then that would mean that the date is not respected, but they get created right at this time, which I would say is the date. If there's a way we could, yeah, 12 days ago, as you can see. And now, one thing I want to be able to do is kind of make it more dynamic, like have a better description, which I think AI would be very good at. Maybe also um, set milestones. For example, this should be on the OMLab milestone. So I'm going to kind of like write down the things that I want to update. But before that, I'm going to delete all of this. I don't need them. So I'm just gonna say I want to update the milestone. Update milestones. Milestones for each ticket. I want to update the labels. Also, I need to make sure they have the right labels. And I also need to assign myself to the ticket and just say, well, I think did I not assign myself to it? Let's see. If you go back in here, we have our team ID. Oh, I didn't assign myself to it. Okay, so I need to be able to assign myself to it. So I'm just gonna go update label, update assignee, and what again do I need to update? Maybe priority also, like set priority. But one thing I don't like is if I put priority, there has to be a way that the agent is able to identify like the priority for each of these things. Is it going to be based on the complexity, or based on something? And also maybe I could also set or set like or use like a hashtag. video creation. So the agent will basically check if the hashtag is of high priority, of low priority, but this basically means I have to write a lot more, or I have to always remember to do it. Anyways, give me a minute. I need to go now because I need to go get my food. And yeah, that's basically what we did today. As you can see, it goes well, and we created a ticket, and yeah, we were able to create tickets, and I explained my thought process and my workflow, and hopefully tomorrow we might continue from this, or I might just do it like when I have the time. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.